How many of you are already, give me some smiley faces if you are already teaching using virtual reality or augmented reality? So we have some people with some experience in here. Excellent. How many want to know how? Give me some hearts. To understand how to teach in virtual reality. You've got lots of questions, lots of things. Fabulous. All right, speakers, that's your audience. Daniel, they're all ready to go for you. We've got a lot of students. We have some teachers here, and everybody wants to know. Go for it.
Okay, thank you so much. Tonight of all nights, my internet connection decided to kick me out. Oh wait, on air and megaphone. There you go. So hi guys. Hi guys. Can you give me a heads up if you can hear me? Everybody can hear me?
Give me some hearts.
Okay, let's hear it. Okay, I got you there. Some hearts back. Very good, cool. Thank you everybody for coming. The second event, Educators in VR. It's quite a crowd, excellent. Have we filled a room yet? I don't know. Okay.
Not yet, but getting close.
Okay, excellent. So do you want to come in a little bit closer? Are you happy where you are as you choose, guys?
I just told him to stay on the stage.
Oh, there you go.
Up on the platform, but whatever.
Okay, so introductions, very quickly, let's get started. Well, I'll quickly introduce myself. I'm Daniel, and we ran a first Educators in VR event in November, back in November. Was anybody at that first one? Anybody else from that one was here? A couple of people. Yeah, it's really good. We had a couple of technical glitches. Over there, we had some people. Excellent. Hopefully today we'll have sorted them out. But like the last time, if we are educators, we should be able to get by without a slideshow. No point bringing death by VR death by PowerPoint, I should say, into VR. It's a new medium, new things, as Rel excellently pointed out. So today, let me see where we got. Yeah, this actually is the quote here: "New technology is common, but new thinking is rare." Kind of informs a little bit what we're trying to do here. Many of you are probably interested in VR in education. Some of you probably already using it. And we're here today to showcase a few people who are in that space and then hear from you ideally about what you do. We're going to just jump to the next slide quickly. Today we're going to hear from at work. No? I might have to...
No.
Not yet. Yes, there we go. So can you see that? Can you see the next slide?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great. So we've got a program about an hour today. We're going to have a short intro, listen to Gabriel Baker. Gabe, are you here? Give us a hands up or come forward, speak. Hey, Gabe, how you doing? Cool. Do you want to come stand on one of these pedestals just so people know when you're speaking who's speaking? Cool. You might have to, are you unmuted? Are you on air and megaphone and unmuted? Because I can't hear you. Do you want to try and sort your microphone out a little bit? Gabe? Okay, all right. Well, this is Gabe anyway. He's going to tell us a little bit about LearnFrameVR.io. Hopefully he'll get his microphone sorted in a moment. We also have Can also, if I remember, where is Can now? That's Shafi there in the corner, the bot head. This is Shafi, cool. Yeah. He's going to tell us about his new business, Cosmos School, and what you're doing. And I think you said you're already live, which is cool. And then over here in the white, near the large windows on the side, we have Timu, who has designed various VR simulation apps. He's going to tell us about. Thanks, Timu. Thanks, guys, for joining us. And would you now, please, Gabe, if you're ready, take one of the pedestals. Timu, when you're ready, take another one. I'm going to come stand over here a little bit.
Can you hear me now, by the way?
Yes, Gabe. Excellent. Can hear you.
Okay.
Can everybody? Are you on megaphone and on air?
I do believe I selected both megaphone and on air. Can I get some claps if people can hear me? I see a few claps. Okay, that's confirmation enough for me.
Okay. All right, Shafi, can you let us know that you can hear us and we can hear you?
Yes, sir. All good.
Shafi, there you go. Excellent. Thank you very much. And then Can also, just so we're ready to start. Sorry, not Cam, Timu at the end.
Yeah, I should be.
Okay, great. Okay.
Out loud.
All right, we're going to start in a minute. Just before we do, I want to say a great thank you to Laurel, who has. Everybody needs a Laurel in their lives, I think. She's standing by, and if anything happens, if there's a fire drill, she'll keep us safe. Great stuff. Thank you, Laurel. Yeah, let's give her some hearts and stuff. Great stuff. We also have Kristina here from the University of Würzburg in Germany, who was in on the last event where you, there you are. Okay. Sesti from Würzburg as well. Yeah, whoop, whoop. Dice is here from Australia, associate professor, yeah, in the purple, in the pink, always great, colorful. They spoke at our last events about their project. Okay, so, right, we're gonna have these three presentations with a couple of questions. And guys, I know it's easy to kind of get carried away with a little longer time. I'm gonna keep you to your 10 minutes if you don't mind. And add some questions at the end. You guys, when you're ready, I'll let you know how to ask questions and so on. At the end of all of those three, a couple of announcements, and then we're just going to meet and chat. And this is an opportunity for you to, strike up a conversation with somebody you're interested in, and so on and so forth. Right. Well, let's get started. Gabriel, how are you doing?
I'm all good.
You're all good? Okay. Do you want to tell us, I'll get your first slide up here. This should hopefully work. There you go, Gabriel Baker, and that's your website.
Yep, looks good.
Do you want the first slide up, or are you ready to just start?
Yeah, go for the first slide. Just have that up there.
Okay. Should be coming any minute.
All right, perfect.
There you go. Okay.
Cool.
Okay, there you go.
So, really nice to be here, everyone. My name is Gabe. I'm a former teacher. I used to teach Latin, of all things, in Los Angeles. Got really interested in online learning, specifically teachers and students, just as we're doing now, using virtual worlds to come together to interact. Been in different kind of immersive tech or ed tech startups since then. So I'm here today to talk about something called WebXR, and this will be specifically interesting, I think, for people, not just interested in VR, but maybe also interested in computer science education, and maybe just kind of learning something new. So. First off, what is WebXR? As you might imagine, it's XR, so it's kind of immersive tech, but it's web, it's browser-based. So WebXR is a framework that makes it possible for you to create VR experiences that actually run right from a web browser. And then the web browser can actually output the VR display to a headset that you have plugged in. So it's a way for a web browser to kind of communicate with a VR headset. On devices like the Oculus Go, you can open up the app called the Oculus Browser and just navigate to a URL and then press the VR button, and that'll render your website as a virtual reality experience. So there are lots of interesting things about WebXR. Some very kind of high up people from all sorts of different companies are driving WebXR forward. And some people think it's a kind of a lower friction way, right, to enter VR, right? You don't need to download an app or install anything or open it up. You simply go to a URL and people get the web. You can go ahead and head to the next slide then, Daniel.
Yep, brought it up. Yep.
Perfect. So why WebXR and why am I interested in WebXR? So, as I mentioned before, I think there's something really beautiful about that kind of low friction experience, right? People know how to go to a link. They know how to click on a link. Another really nice thing about it is that people can use traditional web development languages to create VR experiences. So instead of learning Unity or Unreal and the programming languages you need to use for that, people can use things like HTML and JavaScript, which many think are more sort of beginner friendly. And as a way to kind of learn HTML, I think this is actually a really powerful way for the young learner or the old learner. I just recently went on kind of a web development learning journey myself last year. It's a really powerful way to get into these development languages, right? You're kind of learning HTML, and as you're doing so, you're piecing together a really cool immersive experience. I also like WebXR. As I said before, it's cross-platform, right? You create it, and then it works on everything, ranging from Google Cardboard all the way up to your HTC Vive. And you don't need to publish it and package it in different ways. It's really just kind of ready to rock, right? Everything has a web browser.
Next slide.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Cool. So what I do it's not really a company. There's no profit involved, but I do something called Frame Academy. And at Frame Academy, I just make projects that help you get started with WebXR development. And they're really intended for the person with no coding experience whatsoever. So whether you're a teacher interested in creating stuff or a teacher interested in helping your students learn the basics of web development and kind of an intro to coding, I think this is a really fun way to do it. And I've made some projects that are kind of like hands-on, fun ways to dive into this stuff that are totally free, and I'm hoping that some of you will kind of try out and give me some feedback on. And when I say free, I mean free in a kind of deep, true sense. It's not free, you need to make an account and I'm harvesting your data. It's not free, like there are tons of ads on the website making the experience really crappy. This is actually truly deeply free. This is something I'm doing as kind of a labor of love, and
Thank you so
it's
much.
really just for the community. Yep.
Next slide coming up.
Sure.
Here we go. Here we go.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, just an example, of when you go to the site and you click on projects, you'll see a few projects there, and the very first one, as I said, it really assumes you know nothing, and it kind of shows you the basics of HTML, and as you go through it, you'll actually be piecing together an immersive gallery with photospheres and 3D models and shapes, and you'll learn about all sorts of other cool things. And then they're really scaffolded, so I encourage you to go in order. If you do, dive in, start with 1, and then move on to 2 and 3 and 4 and so forth. We also have a community on Discord where those that are taking the projects can kind of network with each other, and you can ask me questions and so forth. And then when you get through these things, if you do end up creating some cool WebXR stuff, I encourage you to share something called the Frame Gallery. And I think there might be one final slide about this, Daniel.
Yep, I think so. Coming up. That's the project.
Oh, cool.
There's one more after this, the gallery.
Yeah, go ahead and skip this one. Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
So there's a little gallery where people who go through the projects, you can kind of share your scenes, your websites at the end, and it's just a fun place for us to look at each other's work and also learn from it, right? Kind of anything that anyone makes is also kind of a learning artifact, like you can hop into it, and I even show you how to hop into it, and then you can look at the code for any of these experiences yourself. So they're really kind of like learning artifacts as well as things that are just fun and cool to check out. So yeah, I'm sure my 10 minutes are approaching up, so I won't belabor this point, but I'm very passionate about WebXR. I think WebXR is actually the future of VR development. I think the web will win in many ways, but in any case, I think this is a very cool way to kind of intro coding and VR creation to both teachers and students. So all right, I've said my piece. Thanks for listening.
Excellent, Gabriel. Let's give him a big round. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Of course.
That's fascinating. Gabriel and I actually met the first time in your Frame VR. I don't know if you remember, but you showed me around. We were multiplaying in your space. It was early days, but you've been so busy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see. We've got a bunch of audio questions, but I'm going to dismiss them all. So here we go. If you have a question, please now use the Ask a Question little icon button, and as you do so, I will I will unmute you if you like. So please go ahead. Anybody got any questions? I'll have some questions while we're waiting, if you like. Are you working with schools already, Gabe?
Yeah. So I've noticed there are a few teachers already going through the projects, but not just going through the projects, but actually having their students in their classes go through the projects. Often it's teachers. Right. I have like a middle school STEM teacher who's doing like intro to coding in the class with it. But then I also have some people who are just really interested in learning this stuff because they have specific things they want to build, and they think that WebXR is the platform to do it.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Can we just test something, guys? Because I'm sure there must be somebody here with a question. And if you don't know how yet, please look to your bottom right. Here we've got a question. Yeah, Rel is asking the question. Where's Rel? She's got a hand up somewhere?
I am here. Just
yeah, but I cannot see your hand up.
No, you don't have to see my hand up. I just hit on air.
Cool.
Okay.
And then I'll show up. Okay. So
okay, cool.
What I wanted to know is that is this English only, or have you done any localization? And is it possible to do localization in WebXR?
So the projects I have up on Frame Academy right now are indeed English only. I'd be very interested though in localizing to different languages, and I think there might be a service that makes that sort of easy for me in a way that's kind of more automated than makes it perfect at the end of the day, but at the same time there's probably some easy low-hanging fruit for me for that. In terms of whether WebXR, the experiences you make can be localized, of course they can, right? Kind of everything in the WebXR experience that you build is in your control and hands. Absolutely.
Okay. Anyone else with a question about WebXR, WebVR, and FrameVR Academy? Okay. I'll ask another question then, if no one else is. There's a function where you can, I think, has anybody seen my hand come up here?
I don't see it.
So you can either put your hand up, or you can
Yeah.
hit the Ask a Question button, and it'll work.
Oh, so
And
anybody can say Ask a Question button?
Yes.
Okay. I see. Okay, so there's a button which is an Ask a Question button, and I see Dice here. Dice, do you want to ask your question over here, please? In the pink. Hi there. You need to either unmute yourself, or you should be
There you go.
on air.
How's that?
Yes, perfect.
How's
Yeah,
that?
good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Thank you for that. That was really wonderful. Could you give me an example of one of the projects that you think's really interesting, and why you think it's interesting from a pedagogical point of view or from a teaching point of view?
Yeah, sure thing. So
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, perfect. The project that I'm working on now, and I kind of, whenever I finish a little bit, I publish it, even if it's not entirely done. So the most recent one is called Project 4, and it guides you through the creation of an immersive museum. And there's a lot that I think is interesting about this. On the one hand, it's really valuable because I start you off with a starter project that you can just copy and make your own. So you kind of start off seeing how I've set up the basics of an immersive museum, and you have the code, and then you can tinker with it from there. And there's something really valuable about kind of not having to work from scratch on something, because it can be kind of intimidating. And then in terms of the benefits of sort of this museum setup, I think that kind of lends itself to a lot of different kinds of activities kind of out of the box for students, whether you're having them create a learning artifact about what they're learning about, and you have them make a museum tailored to that. Oh, hi there.
Hi there. Guest, are you wanting to ask a question, or have you
Thanks, guys.
just joined us? But
Yep, I hope that kind of addressed it. I know I was cut short a
Yeah.
bit, but yeah,
Thank you.
perfect.
That's okay.
Okay. Guest, are you joining us, or are you taking part in this in some way?
I think they just left.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Do we have one more question? We have guest 9977. I can put you on air. Anyone else? Sarah. We have a question from Sarah. Sarah, one more question, and then I think we're going to move on to the next speaker.
Yep,
Sarah,
I got you, Sarah.
Let us.
Great.
Can you let us know where you are?
Students, and I was wondering if you think WebVR is a good platform for adding interactivity to 360 video.
Yeah, so...
Could you repeat the question for us? Because that was a little bit quiet. Maybe Gabe, can you repeat the question?
Sure, I think I heard it okay, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the question was, is WebVR a good platform for adding interactivity to 360 media? And so, I think that it is. I will say there are some sort of out-of-the-box software tools out there that do a pretty good job at this, whether it's like Google Tour Creator or some other software services. There's like ThingLink and StorySpheres and things like this. So there might be a few that I'd point you to if you don't want to get your hands dirty with any coding and things like that.
Yeah.
That said, this isn't that hard to pull off in WebVR, and you will have total control over it as you're building it, and it actually would be a good kind of first starter project to tackle. You'll find that you'll learn a little bit of HTML and a little bit of JavaScript, and then you'll have coded it yourself, which does have the added advantage, by the way, of then it will be free. You won't be locked into any software's plan or so forth. So I'd say it's not the easiest route because there's some like low-hanging fruit tools out there that do a pretty good job at this. But that said, if you were to go this route, you'd have the ultimate control. It'd be a good learning opportunity, and you could indeed pull it off just fine.
Okay, excellent. Gabe, thank you very much, and thank you for your questions. Yeah, if you're interested in WebXR, I'm sure you can get in touch with Gabe via Twitter, a Discord channel, or your website. I'm sure you were very generous with your time the last time with me, and I love the fact that it's deeply free, as you say. Yeah, more of that, please. More of that.
Yeah, sure thing. Fantastic. And you can find it all at just learn.freevr.io.
That's right. I'll try and bring the links in somehow. Again, yeah, let's give him a big round of emojis here. Thank you, Gabe, for that.
Of course.
Great work. Okay. Right. So then over here we have. I'm just gonna. Yeah, I know we have some more questions. Maybe we're not going to ask some more questions just now. We're going to go to Can. I think Can. If you want to ask questions, there'll be chance at the end also to ask Gabe if you're going to hang around a little bit. Yeah, you can stay on your podium if you want, or you can move. It's okay.
Okay.
So let's then move over to Can, which is the bot in the middle here. His avatar is called Shafi.
Hello.
And I'm going to move to the next slide so people can see his name. Does that come up? Excellent. Can also. And you run, are you the CEO, the owner of cosmosschool.com, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Sure. So my name is actually pronounced John.
Oh, okay.
Like English John. It's, I mean, no one gets it right. It's a Turkish name.
Okay.
It's spelled C-A-N. And I'm the founder and CEO of Cosmos School. We're a small startup based in San Francisco, and we're offering science classes in VR.
Okay.
Our ambition or our goal is to build a whole K through 12 school that exists only in virtual reality.
Excellent. Great. Please.
Great. So,
Okay.
Let's see. Let me tell you. I just want to tell you a little bit about what we're doing. Show you 2 short videos so you get a better impression, and also tell you a little bit about why we're doing this.
Let me know
All
when
right,
you're ready to play the first video.
I will. Okay.
Okay.
So as I said, we're providing science classes in VR, and we're currently live with one class that we at the moment run once a month. We ran our first class in December, and now currently the second one is running. How it works is it's targeted towards middle and high schoolers, and they enroll in the class beforehand, and it's a class that takes 8 hours in total over the course of 2 weeks. It's a small group class, so it's around 5 students, can be a little bit more or less. And the students meet at specific times with our teacher in VR. So it's not like a pre-made class or something, but it's like a real life class. But instead of meeting, at the school or at the local building, you just meet in VR.
Cool.
Our teacher, so me and my co-founder Dorina, who's the bumblebee over there, Pussy, to the,
Okay.
exactly.
Easy, yeah.
There you go. Are the founders of Cosmos School, and then we're not teachers, so we are just super interested and passionate about education. That's why we started Cosmos School. We have a physics teacher that actually works with us and runs the classes. So our first class is called Intro to Rockets, and we're teaching, just the basics of how rockets work. There's a little bit of physics in there. There's a little bit of material sciences and chemistry in there, and also some engineering. And
is that the first video?
Exactly. You can run the video.
Yeah. Okay. Let's watch that now quickly. I think it should autoplay. I hope. It did jump to the next slide for me. Yeah, here we go. Okay. And so the students, they take part in this completely in virtual reality, is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
And would they be from very different places, or are they all actually in the same classroom somewhere?
No, they're all over the world.
Really? Okay, so it's actually a virtual school.
Exactly, yeah.
Is there anything else like this already, or are you the guys the first?
To my knowledge, I don't know any other project that's in this direction, to be honest. If you, I mean,
you want me to play the next one straight away?
Yeah, let me just tell you a little bit about the next video. So I will just show you in the next video. So this was Cosmos. So students have to download the Cosmos app in order to join, and it's a little bit like AltspaceVR. You have avatars. But you can do, we have all these custom science experiment and engineering things that you can do and build. So in the next video, we'll just show off quickly a lab where they create kerosene that they will use for their rocket to launch their rocket.
I'll play that now. It takes a little bit of time to actually bring up the next video. It's been a bit jumpy. Sorry. I'll try again, bear with me. I might have jumped past it now. Anyway. Okay, here we go.
Nice.
There you go, making gasoline. This is fantastic. How many students can you have in a class? Did you say 5?
Yeah, currently we're aiming for 5.
And is there always a teacher in the space with you?
Exactly, yeah. It's
okay, so it's
always,
like a traditional class, but fully in VR.
Yeah, it's like a small group class in VR, and it's for students who are interested in science. It's not like a tutoring thing. It's not like if you're bad at math, you can get better with it. It's not that.
Okay. But still, I mean, I imagine now that you've kind of proven the model, this could be applied to many other classes. You have plans for other classes as well?
Yeah, we do. The next class we're working on is going to be related to botany, actually.
Lobotomy?
People will be botany. So plants.
Oh, botany.
Yeah.
Lobotomy.
Yes. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so
that was great.
This process here is called fractional distillation. Exactly. So, I mean, the whole idea is that students learn in a very hands-on manner, and we've gotten really great feedback so far.
Great.
So, if you go to the next slide.
Yeah. Next slide. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Exactly. So just to finish off, I want to, just why are we doing this? And the reason to start this company is, or this school is, because we think VR is the first medium or the first technology that actually can provide a better education system than we have right now in the physical world. Just because I think that with VR we can solve the two main problems, which are access and cost of education. Access, I'm talking about geographical access. Nowadays you almost have to move to the school you're going to. This is especially true for primary and secondary education. And cost-wise, I mean, some countries are better, like I'm from Switzerland. Their public education is pretty great. I know it's also the case in Northern Europe and Western Europe in general. But like I live in the US now, and like most of the education of the schools in the US are not great, and you can't if you don't have the money, you can't get a great education for your kid. So and because VR
now the school is coming to you.
Exactly, and I think why. So people ask me often, why can't you do this just in a web app or like in a Skype call or something, and so this is hard to explain, but I mean I'm now preaching to the choir, but VR, as you can see now, really feels like you're there. We couldn't do this like this meetup right now. If you do this over Skype, it would just suck, right? Now it's really cool. And I think this fundamentally social component of VR is key to primary and secondary education, and I think that's why now with VR we can build a actual school that only exists in VR, and that's what we're trying to do.
Fantastic! Hands up, like clap. That's amazing. Thank you so much for your timely presentation there. Love the idea.
You're welcome.
My son is 10 years old, and my wife and I
should
keep talking about going on the road, and maybe I'll enroll him on your school.
What I want to say is, if anyone, including you, wants to try it out for their kids or themselves, I'm happy to offer a discount, 50% discount. Just write me an email or contact me. Yeah, my email is can@cosmosschool.com.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Okay, I have some people wanting to ask you some questions here. Jenny, is Jenny here? Do you want to ask a question? If so, you are now on air. Jenny, do you have a question? Maybe Jenny was from earlier.
No, she's there. She's just, I think she has to unmute herself.
Okay, I've got you on air. Jenny, do you want to try with your microphone? You have to click the little red microphone, make sure it's white. Okay.
Or maybe she can write me her question because we're chatting, and you just go on with another question.
In the meantime, I'm going to go on to Busi. Busi, you're on air now. Can we hear your question?
It was from before. I just got the hand up for.
Whoever's speaking
so I don't
needs
have
to be
a question.
a little louder. Sorry. Busi,
I don't have a question.
In asking a question?
I think
she's saying she doesn't have a question.
Right.
She just said.
So I need to. There you go. We also have Drukpa. Drukpa is here. I need to reset the space for. Okay. Sorry, I'm just getting a message from Rel in another room saying we need you to reset the space. Sorry, problems in the mirror room. Give me a few moments here. Sorry, John, to cut your question short.
No worries.
Let me get in touch with her. Okay, just gonna ask her quickly.
Daniel,
So what you do is you go to settings, go to your menu settings, moderate.
Okay. Is that in the main button? So
I can do
settings.
Yeah. Moderate. Got it, yeah.
Reset space.
And then reset space. Here we go.
Yes.
Resetting. Okay. Reset.
Any limitations in VR versus teaching in the real world? And I mean, the answer is yes, of course. I think the biggest thing is, we're just getting started. We started the Cosmos School half a year ago, so it's pretty basic what we can do. We have a bunch of experiments and engineering things that the students can run or play around with in Cosmos School. But obviously, she misses some things that, in a real classroom, like she could just take a piece of paper and some glue and build something that currently she can't do in VR. I think that's currently the biggest limitation. Yeah.
Okay. I hope that answered your question there. Very good. We have Valibrarian. Are you with us? Do you want to ask a question?
Yes.
Valibrarian.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Is it just me?
I
can't hear. Can you hear?
I can hear you. I can hear her. You're a little bit.
Turn on
Maybe
the
if you could.
microphone.
Yeah.
Yes. This is Valibrarian. Hopefully you
Yeah.
can hear me.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
I feel like you've got a great.
Oh, she's
Oh.
gone.
She's gone.
Internet connection, I think. If she comes back, we'll give her another time. We have, we have Drukpa with a question.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Drupa.
Hi. So first, I just think this is really super cool. It's great, thank you. And then I guess the two things. One, are you looking at trying to get accreditation for the school K through 12 eventually, or maybe be like part of homeschool? And then my second question is, you mentioned K through 12, so there's a little bit of research suggesting sort of an age limitation with VR, and so a kindergartner would be younger than what some of that research shows. So what do you guys think about that? There's just something like that. There's a book by Jeremy Bailenson that sort of talks about people being under 10 or 12 and their opinions about kids using VR. So just curious what you guys think.
Okay, so the first part, are we thinking about getting accredited? The answer is as soon as we start offering a full curriculum, so where parents can send their kids to Cosmos School instead of to the local public school, then yes, we will seek accreditation. That's for us probably like 2 years out or something. We will stick to like the single classes, extracurricular classes for now, just to learn and build up. And the second part, yeah, that's also something we get asked a lot. So what's like a good minimum age for a kid to use VR? And as you said, there is almost no research in that area. And the reason for that is of twofold. I think first of all, it's new. Second of all, it's always hard to do research with younger kids because of ethical and therefore administrative issues. Yeah. Our strategy is that we will start with middle and high school. We won't go straight to kindergarten. Kindergarten is probably like the last age group that will kind of like onboard. What I think is that in a couple of years, when VR will be mainstream and people won't be afraid of it, and people will see the benefits. Of course, like using any technology unmonitored as a kid for a longer period of time is not good, but that's true for smartphones, computers, or VR headsets. Yeah. I don't think VR is different.
Okay. Thank you for the answers. Thank you for the questions. I've got more people wanting to ask questions here. Can I suggest that you hang around at the end of the event and ask the questions then? Because I'd like to get on to our third speaker today, who is standing over on the right in the white here. Thank you, John, for your presentation and sharing
Thank you very much.
with us everything about Cosmos School. Get in touch with John if you're interested, if you want to know more and have a chat with him later. Thank you. Let's give him another round of applause. Thank you. Well done.
Thanks.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. Over here we have, I'm going to come over and stand over here for a moment. There we go. I'm going to say hi. Hi, Timo. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm fine, thanks.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Just for people who don't know Timo, which are probably quite a few people in AltspaceVR, Timo was here on the first event. Is that right, Timo? You were here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
and we had a chat at the end, and you got in touch via email, and
yes.
The idea of this meetup is for you guys to share what you're doing, and then get to ask questions and meet each other. And Timo wrote an email saying him and another friend, are doing some interesting stuff in Finland, right?
Yes.
In Finland.
All the way in Finland.
All the way in Finland. And so you've developed some simulation apps that you're going to tell us about. Is that right?
Yes.
Lovely. Okay, I'm going to jump to the next slide here. So Everyone can see your, is that coming up? Oh, that was the questions part. You should come up with the next one now. Try again. Here we go. Timo Tiainen. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, so, about right.
About right. Okay. I'm going to jump straight into the next slide, which is...
Yeah, go ahead.
You okay with that?
Yeah,
okay,
it's okay. Yeah. So basically, there's just a few slides in the beginning showing just to get an idea of the kind of stuff that we're doing. So basically, for example, this is a student using an HTC Vive system in our car mechanics training environment, and he's changing the brake pads in this video. You can go to the next slide.
Next slide,
yeah.
Okay, bringing it up,
yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, so basically there's, like I said, just a few examples. This is metal machining environment where the students learn how to use a mechanical lathe. So a totally different profession and different kind of environment, but we're doing some pretty sort of different types of environments.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay. Go ahead and change the next slide.
Next slide. Just before I do, can I just take a moment? Sorry to interrupt your slide. I just want to explain to everybody. There's when AltSpace fills up beyond a certain space, another room opens up, and so they can hear us, but they can't see the slides. I'm really sorry about that. I wanted to also thank the moderators. They're trying to sort it out in the back room, in the background. So thanks for your patience. We're going to continue with the slides and hope that it gets fixed. Anyway, next slide coming up. Here we go. Okay.
Okay, so this is naturally a car painter environment where they learn to spray paint cars and also other stuff that you can use a spray gun for.
Yeah.
Go ahead and change the next slide. Okay. So these are just some examples of the kind of environments that we built, and here's still one last example of an AR demo that we've done. So basically, this is running Bucher on top of basically any graphical image, and just to give you an idea of all the things that are possible with this. So basically explaining how a wheel bearing works is pretty much easier when you can show it like that.
Can I just say a word about this for a moment?
Yeah.
When I was looking at the slide earlier, it struck me, and what I love about this is that if you're in this space with a VR headset, you are basically looking at a screen, showing a screen of a screen of a screen. You're looking 4 layers deep into digital when you're looking at the app here. I thought that was quite impressive. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, also another good point about this is that at the moment not too many of our students have VR headsets at home, but with building AR stuff using Bucher or anything else like that, the students can do these things at home as well with their own smartphones.
Yeah.
So go ahead and change the next slide.
Next slide coming up for you. There you go. Good question.
Yeah. So basically, why are we doing any of this stuff? There are many different reasons, and basically all of the environments have been built for different reasons. For example, the automotive environment got started because we were experiencing problems with the very beginning of the studies, where the inexperienced students moved on to the garage and they did their first, for example, changing the brake pads, like in the video. And they are very much afraid to do anything. So basically we have 20 students trying to change brake pads, and they only do anything when the student is standing right next to them and telling what to do next. So basically the first time they do it is very, very slow. Okay. And for that purpose, we originally started building this environment, and the automotive environment is the largest that we have, and it basically has all the theory stuff in it, and it takes you from the theory straight to doing some practical stuff first in the VR environment, and once you know how to do it correctly in VR, you move on to the garage and do the same thing on actual cars. So we have
Timo,
modeled actual.
Do you have
Yeah, go ahead and
data
ask.
to back up the idea that it would speed things up? Do you have like empirical data?
Well, at the moment we haven't done any sort of scientific study. That is actually coming in the next few months. We are going to do a study with the local university, but basically the sort of empiric experience shows that it is quite a big difference on whether the student does these assignments for the first time in real life or if they have practiced in VR.
Okay.
So basically that's for the automotive environment, and then we have other environments such as for example, the metal workshop. There the problem is more in the safe working of the equipment. So basically you can really hurt yourself and get even a fatal error in any of those machines. So basically the focus on that system is to show them how to safely take out a machine and do all the pre-work you need to do before you can get it up and running.
Great.
Third reason that is currently driving us to do these environments.
Oh, sorry. I went too fast.
Yeah, it's okay. The main reason at the moment is just efficiency. So basically, for example, we're building a system for the HVAC department. Currently they have a very big rooms for different models and makers of the HVAC machines, but in the future we don't only want to have one or two actual machines, and the rest you can learn in VR. So basically you can do the practical stuff in one or two machines and learn how the others are in VR. So that's a very, very big cash save there, because we will be able to do the same stuff in a lot smaller space.
Okay. You want to
Go
move
ahead
on?
and change that. Yeah.
There we go. How? There you go.
Yeah. So that's another big question. To begin with, how we're building these environments is there are many different types of building these that we are trying at the moment. The biggest environments we have built, basically paying some company to do it. Then we also have in our vocational college there are students that are learning 3D modeling and game development. So basically we've given them a school assignment of building some of these environments. And that's all, of course, because they're students, it's a lot slower, but then again, it is also a lot cheaper. Yeah. And then we've done some experiments with, stuff like this AltspaceVR and others that you can bring your own content to any sort of commercial environments. Someone mentioned ThingLink earlier. That's the thing that we're using for 360 photos and videos at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Is there one more slide?
Yeah. I'll just add one more thing, and
please.
Sort of depending on what you're trying to aim with the system, depends on what you're going to and how you're going to build the system. So basically, from the very beginning, you need to have a clear focus on what you need to accomplish with the system, and what is the problem that you want to solve with any of these simulations.
Okay. I think.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Move to things learned.
Yeah. So at the moment, we've built about I believe 6 or 7 of these different VR environments, and we've learned quite a lot. For example, as I mentioned about the automotive environment, that's a very large and big environment where we have modeled all of the parts of one car, and we basically have tools so that we can build assignments and theory material on any of those parts. And when you do stuff like that in VR and you have a tool to build more content for it, it is a very big process to build it. It's taken, I believe, 3 years for the moment, and it's still quite not finished. So basically, the first thing that we learned is to build a bit smaller stuff so that you can, basically it's a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
It's wiser to build smaller environments. For example, the car painting simulator is about half a year of development, and that's sort of a manageable size of an environment.
Okay.
Another thing is that one of the most important things is that you need to have a clear way of how the simulator will be used on the daily routines at the school. So basically, for example, none of our systems at the moment are built to use with a full group, but they are designed to use individually. So basically, we have to, before we start making an environment, we have to think where we're going to put the VR equipment in the school so that the students can go into the space and use them individually, and how we're going to follow up on development on each of the students and stuff like that. So that's pretty important to think before you start making any environments, because it's one of the most important things that we have some commercial simulators that we have bought, and we have noticed that they are rarely used because we don't have a clear way of integrating them into the normal daily routines.
So you need a clear focus to use them.
Yeah, you really need to know it before you start making any of this. And also, one of the things that we have learned is that whenever you start designing a VR environment, you should always put some, probably like ×2 on the budget, because even if you
double your budget,
make a even if you make a budget for sort of one type of system, once you have it finished, you will get tons of ideas of how to make it better, and you want to improve it later on. So basically, none of our systems for the time being haven't been finished when they're finished.
That's good advice. That's really good advice. Okay.
Yeah. So I think I'm running out of time. So
yeah. Okay. I'm going to switch on to before we start with the questions, thank you very much. First of all, let's have some clap hands for Timo over here with his VR simulations. That was a great talk. Thank you. We've got a few minutes left. We've got 10 minutes left. I should point out that once we finish the questions here, I'm going to make just a few quick announcements, not much, and then feel free to stay here. The event stays open as long as there's anybody in it. So if you want to talk to any of the speakers, you want to meet each other, feel free to stay, talk, chat, speed network, whatever you want to do. But for now, can we see, I've got some questions coming up. Rel's got a question. Please, Rel.
Hi. So what's the response? I mean, really, how are the students responding to using this?
Well, they are of course pretty excited, and for example, when we have in Finland we have these parents' evenings where the parents can come to the school and see where their kids are studying at day, and we've held those in the evening, and we've had these VR environments on display, and even when the students have played with them to 8 p.m. in the evening, and when we go to tell them that we really need to go home, at this point they really don't want to go, even at that point, even if they've been there a few hours extra after school. So basically, none of our systems has so far been found boring, even if we haven't had the sort of any real focus on making the environments fun. It sort of comes pre-stated with the VR stuff.
Okay, good. Do we have any other questions? Thank you for that question, Ra. In fact, I do have another question. So, do you think, I'm excited about VR myself. I love the whole medium. But do you think some of the excitement is about the technology rather than the learning, or is it clear to say that they get excited but they stay excited?
Yes, I must say that a large portion of the excitement is about the equipment, and that's something that, well, I would say that we haven't made too big of mistakes with that, but I've seen other environments that other schools in Finland have made that, you know, they are only excited about the equipment, and they have designed the system so that, for example, there's another car mechanic system in Finland that they basically have a two-dimensional sort of game mechanics in the system, so that you select a part and it flies into the correct space, and where you don't even use any of the hand tools and stuff. And
no interaction.
In my opinion, that's sort of, that's also excites the students, but it really there's not the focus isn't in the pedagogy as it should be.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we're coming to the end of our time, and I'm sure we could ask a lot more questions. And I think for our next session, we'll have more focus on audience interaction. So thank you one more time for all of our three speakers. Excellent. That was really enjoyed all three of them. Remember, when you meet somebody in AltSpace, stay in touch with them if you're interested in their work. And please don't everybody rush away, because I just want to make one or two announcements before you go. I'm going to bring up, the next slide here. Right, so community announcements. The first announcement is actually a plug for a different event. I don't know if anybody knows this event. It's #CPD in VR, and it's on the Engage platform. You need a PC or a PC VR to take part, and it's run by a guy called Steve Bambury, who's doing some great work in education and VR. His event was actually 3 hours ago. I was there. It was really interesting, met some great people. If you get a chance to do this, there are limited spaces, so you have to be quick. But the Engage platform he uses, apparently, I have heard, hopefully, is going to be open for Oculus Go and Oculus Quest and these kind of standalone headsets in some time in the future. I don't know how soon that will be, but if you get a chance, I highly recommend you go and have a look at this event. Steve Bambury, #CPD in VR. It's about monthly, and he usually advertises it on the Facebook groups if you haven't already seen it. So that was one thing. And then the other thing is, our next event. At the moment, I'm scheduling it for February, the 21st of, 21st of February. Will be our next event, and we, I've just heard from somebody that Engage is going to be available from February, which is great news. But back to the event, February 21st, probably will be the same time. Keep a lookout for it. We will tell you all about it on Facebook, but also we will tell you about it on the Discord server. And I just can see now, unfortunately, the Discord invite, the link to the Discord server is missing. So I apologize for that. I don't know how to bring it up quickly. Basically, the name of the server is Educators in VR. And what I'll do,
just give me a minute.
Okay. Oh, Rel's going to bring up the link. Fantastic. Thank you, Rel. So yeah, please do join us on the Discord server, because this conversation we're having now is going to continue right throughout the month from now until February, the whole time. You can meet and join and chat there. Go ahead and introduce yourself in the introduction channels. If you don't know Discord, I've just joined. It's really intuitive. You can use it easily. Hopefully you'll all join, and we can share and learn there when we're not in VR. So,
and if any of you have a piece of paper or pencil, because I don't have a way to make this visible. Okay. But the Discord channel ID, and that's all you need is just this ID number, is X. I'll repeat this a couple times. X7 MRWPQ. Sounds like a secret detective name. X7 MRWPQ. All right, X7 MRWPQ. We'll make sure it shows up in the slides next time. Thanks, everyone.
Fantastic. Thank you, Rel. Thank you, Rel. And with that, really, I just want to say thank you one more time for everybody for coming. Don't run away. Thank you to the speakers. Thank you, Timu on the white. Thank you, John, in the bot, and thank you, Gabriel Baker, for your presentations and sharing your stuff. And now, if you want, everybody, please unmute yourself, yeah? Oh, we should do a quick selfie. Shouldn't we do a quick selfie? Selfie opportunities? Yes, please. Can everybody rush to the front? Stand in front of the, yes, excellent. Everybody come down to the front, and then one person, maybe myself, or anybody want to take a picture for us from the front? I'll take one, and then
I can take a wide angle one.
Okay, let me have a look. Camera here. Here we go.
Except,
okay.
Dice, you're in my way. There.
Okay.
Oops, way too far.
Here we go.
Hold on, hold on.
Okay, when you're ready, guys, everybody, emojis, emojis, emojis. Here we go. Excellent. One more. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Keep it going.
Keep it going. Excellent. Nice.
There, one more. And go. Yay.
Fantastic.
And
brilliant. Thank you very
there.
much. That's excellent. Thank you so much, guys. Brilliant. So please go ahead and unmute yourself if you are still muted. And go and find somebody, introduce yourself, or go and walk up to the speakers, have a chat, find someone to talk to. I'm going to take myself off megaphone for now, so I'm not shouting at anybody. There you go. Okay. All right. Where is Dice? Hey, Erica.
Hey, what's up?
Daniel, how are you?
Hey, cool.
Nice to see you. How
Yes,
are you going?
same. How are you keeping?
Yeah, really good, thanks. Yeah, really good. Very good.
It went all right
Sweating
today,
away
huh?
on the Australians. Look, this is the only cool day we've had in 2 months. Finally, I get a cool day that I can come in for the
become a
headset.
teacher?
That's how bad it's
You were
been.
worried about your face melting with
I
the
was
mask
really
on.
worried
Are
about being
you-
able to
are you
stay
in
in
school
here
right now,
more
or?
than 10, because I got in here yesterday.